Raider Nation? It's your boy Omar. Man, we've had some rough times here, man. So thank you guys for joining. Please, if you haven't, subscribe, smash that like button. So anyway, I'm gonna bring on two very special guests, man. Of course, we got my man Jerry from Arizona Raider Nation, and we also got Scotty Waddy from Death Star. What's going on, fellas? How are you guys this evening?
What's up? What's up? Great.
Oh man,
well, as great as can be.
Right?
Today was good.
There you go. All right, guys, for the drinking game tonight, hey, the drinking game alert is Fire McDaniels. Good Lord. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I think there's so many different opinions, that I've heard, but I think the majority has definitely said that this 2-6 team right now is a byproduct of Josh McDaniels.
100%. I mean, this subject alone, there's so many umbrellas which way we could go. I mean, I'd like to start off with he's lost the locker room. You got to preach patience with the new coach. You got to give him some time. We've done that in the past. Worked out, hasn't worked out, but he's obviously, based on what players are saying and the way they're acting, he's definitely lost the locker room. So in my opinion, he has to go.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see we did better with turmoil and an interim coach last year, and not Davante Adams. What's the common denominator here? I mean, come on.
Great.
Definitely. I mean, I think the expectations was high. I mean, we skid into the playoffs after a tumultuous season. You lose your head coach. Your starting receiver kills someone, goes to jail. Hobbs, who was, young QB that had big hopes, he got a little DUI, or you know what I mean? Like, it was looking like that this team was about to fall apart. Interim coach Bisaccia comes in, and this dude gets everybody. I mean, you hear people talk about not buying in. Everybody bought into Bisaccia. I'm over here at home saying, hey, I'll suit up and get injured for you, bruh. I mean, I got a little recording of him talking in the locker room one time, and I was like, all right, this dude for real. He got me hyped. Right. So I was, so that's kind of, where we left off. We go in. We had what we thought was an okay offseason. I mean, we got Davante Adams. I'm thinking, okay, this is not going to be a rebuild, because I think we all, new coach, we're all kind of thinking, and we're hoping that it's not going to be. You go and you get arguably one of the best, arguably the best receiver in the league, and then you get some complimentary pieces and things like that. We're ready.
And who rebuilds when you made it into the playoffs and you were one play away from making it into the second round? Right. But no, you turn around and you get Davante Adams.
Right.
That's not a rebuild. So what's happening here?
Yeah, I'm serious.
We saw this shit.
I want to get into some headlines and, so that we can make it through this. But first, I want you guys to kind of, like I say, with everything going on, the 2-6 season, the one thing I've been able to rely on, you guys were there in New Orleans. We had each other, bro. We had each other. The Raider Nation it doesn't matter, man. We got thick skins. We know how to enjoy one another. We enjoy this game. So, why don't you guys just kind of walk me through from your clubs and from the beginning of the season to, some of the highlights, that you guys have had, because we need some positivity.
No, you hit it right on the nail on the head. Again, thank you for having Jerry with Arizona Raider Nation. I mean, it's a bunch of us. I got a good group of people, a core group of people. We've been focusing on the travel team. We do have our watch parties here in Tempe at Dave & Buster's. They've been doing really good. They approached us, which is good. So now we're holding all of our watch parties there. But traveling, our group really likes to travel. Omar, you joined us on a airboat tour in New Orleans. Every time we go to a new city, we just find stuff to do together with Raider Nation, have your flags, have some fun, have some drinks, some cigars. And we know what's going to happen at the game. It's a crapshoot, right? So all we got is pre-game. We take the mentality of the game lately is just part of that travel weekend. You know what I mean? The rest is fun with Raider Nation and hanging out and creating those core memories that'll last us forever.
Definitely.
So on my part, we're in San Antonio, Texas, Death Star Raider Booster Club. We are doing a lot of newer stuff. We're trying to move some stuff around, trying to get better. We're new at this club game, but traveling, we've made a lot of people, man. We've met a lot of people. We're doing a lot of stuff in Mexico. Shout out to Malosos de Monterrey, all the Maloso clubs. Tavo Romanowski out there. Shout out to Baja, all them people in Mexico. Donna and Damien, they're all, man. The Mexico faction of the Raider Nation is absolutely incredible, and I'm so lucky that I've had the opportunity to be in touch with so many of the top guys out there. You know, the Raiders did an event out there a couple weeks ago in Mexico City. We went to that. We've been traveling a lot too. A lot of my clubs have been traveling around. I've been to 3 games this year. We've lost every single fucking one of them, but not that I'm mad about that or anything like that. But anyways,
right?
I'll be out there in LA for the Rams. So we'll another couple of the club members. So we've been moving around a lot too. Trying to do some little stuff. Like I said, it's hard to get things going, and hard to get everybody organized, and everybody's got a life and kids and, you know, jobs and all that kind of stuff. So it's a part-time job, but we've been moving around a lot.
That's awesome, man.
Cool, man. Good stuff.
And
Good stuff.
again, touching on the point of New Orleans, man, I was walking down Bourbon Street. I looked up, Omar, what's up? And you're on a balcony. And like, that's how it is. Like you said it earlier, that's how it is. All we got is each other. And it's just like, oh, my dude over there, you know, and it's like, I'm sitting there on Bourbon Street and you ain't even got to move. Everybody's moving, and it's like, oh, what's up? Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up? And I might not Facebook, I might not know you, but I kind of chat with you, whatever. You know, all we got is each other, and that's just what's up. And really, we need it this season.
Definitely, man. That was just the one thing I was just loving, man. I'm walking down, and all of a sudden, I see Raider Demon King dude give me the biggest hug. I was just like, man, hell, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. You know, I'm like, you threw the beer in my little beer holder, Sky. I'm like, and I was trying to stop drinking, and I'm like, oh, babe, I got another beer. Damn. I was just like,
I had to get you a beer, bro.
You know, I'm like, and that was all I'm sitting there in the stadium. I'm traumatized. We're laying the goose egg. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh. I mean, it just punches you in the gut, you know? And then I go to the hotel, go back out to Bourbon Street, boom. Rilla having the birthday party. You know what I'm saying? I see Jerry and him again. I just start dancing, just drinking my pain away, you know? And I'm like, man.
100%.
You know, like, and then at the end of the trip, I'm just like, man, that was such a great trip, you know? Even though for, you know, three hours there, it was terrible. It was terrible.
I'll tell you this. I've been to sporting events all my life, baseball, you know, soccer, football, everything. Whenever I go to a new city, I'll go see whatever sport that, you know, just to go to a sporting event. In all my life, New Orleans was the first game that I walked out on. I walked out in the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Yeah. As you should.
I was hot.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
As you should. To touch a little bit of what you were saying, Omar, too, and kind of tie everything together, is Raider Nation, man. We travel. We're passionate. And there's some other teams out there that they travel well, but when we come into a city like New Orleans, people notice. And the people actually are thankful to have us there. They're hosting us. Even when we were losing, the people behind me, the Saints fans, they were so nice and just chatting it up and just bantering back and forth. You know, good fun banter. And New Orleans and Nashville, to me, have been great host cities for away games so far.
Mm-hmm. Just want to give a shout out to the chats. Let's see here. What's up, J Dub? What's up, Mother Moon, Lady T, Darkness? Man, thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. All right, guys. So
Hit us with it.
there's been some headlines, just a few. I mean, I don't know if you guys read or, the paper or, go through your timeline really quickly, but I think the one I saw circulating the most and the one I'm getting the most heat from some of my friends who are fans of one of those other 31 teams is our quarterback here. Derek Carr, had to hold back tears, saying that he's pissed. He's saying that, hey, I wish everyone in that locker room felt the way I feel about this team. Now, when I heard that, my number one deduction is that, okay, he can't be talking about Davante, because we heard the whole story how Davante wanted to be a Raider from childhood. Whole family is Raider fans. So I'm like, he's not talking about Davante. Who could he be talking about? Is he talking about a player? Is he? Could he not be talking about coaches?
When I first heard it, I thought that was a direct blow at the coaching staff. Yeah. That's the way I took it. Yeah. I think the players want to play.
Yep.
No, absolutely. We talked about this a little bit backstage before the show. It's McDaniels has absolutely lost the locker room, because if you look at Derek Carr's career, and I like Derek Carr, I'm a backer until you can tell me where the grass is greener on the other side on a back Carr. This is the first time he's acted like this. He's always been even keel. He's always been respectful. This is the most disrespectful he's ever been, politically correct-wise, for a Derek Carr. You know what I mean? So I kind of appreciated that he came out, and I'm surprised he didn't slam the podium. It's about time he comes out and does something like that, but that's to say that the locker room is lost. McDaniels has lost the locker room. That's all I have to keep saying.
Yeah. I don't see any other way around what you just said, Jerry. I really don't. I totally agree.
Yeah. J-Dub says, Derek crying is a perfect description of how I feel about McClownils leads the team. Oh, hey, there's another nickname we might have to add. That might be another one that we might have to add to our list.
That's a good one.
For real.
I mean, if you and it's been said so many times, if you've grown and you getting paid like that, and you have said time and time again, I will only be a Raider. When I stop being a Raider, I'll go play golf. Something's happening for you to come a worldwide and be that emotional. Something's going on. And I think he realizes, like, the reality hit him. This is what you guys are doing. I see what you guys are doing, and you guys are playing us.
And he mentions about all the work, and I read that, especially when the losing started happening, they're having longer practices, more meetings. The players are getting scrutinized about what they post on social media, like they're cracking down. Coaches are cracking down on players. Carr, I think, mentioned that players are struggling to get to sleep. So I think he said that what people are putting in their bodies to sleep. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I only can imagine that, we hear about when people have to take downers to go to sleep, uppers to wake up. You know what I mean? We hear about how that spiral kind of behavior can just, that can ruin a worker, not just at a professional athlete level, but in any job. So
would you agree with the statement that the players, just like us, expected so much, and now it's like, damn, we're trying hard here, but what this is happening, whatever it is that's happening. And Max Crosby came out, speaking of headline, and he said, y'all deserve better.
Oh, man,
there it is.
He said, Raider Nation, I love y'all. Y'all don't deserve this. Man, right?
Man, that boy's mom and his family's out at the tailgates. Come on, man.
Right.
Absolutely.
I know. That is for real.
We all got Vera Crosby on our social media. She's everybody's damn friend. She's out there drinking beer. She's out there at the tailgate. She's there. Come on, man. That boy want to win.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That boy want to win.
Yes.
He's a Raider, and it seems like Devontae and Carr is saying some of these guys ain't Raiders. That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, that was my next one. Just don't got enough guys that are fully bought into that right now. I think people like the idea, but when it's time to execute, it don't turn out that way.
Now,
I mean,
isn't that a dig at the coaches though?
It has to be.
It
Only
has to
the
be.
coaches can get players buy-in. I mean, there's only so much let's just say the leaders that are players can do. But it's like what I was saying. If you're an electrician and I'm asking you to do some plumbing, that's going to make it kind of hard for you to buy in, especially when, let's just say, everybody's talking about McDaniels, but nobody mentioned Ziegler, who brought in some people. You know what I mean? And this is a part of what we see on the field is the people he brought in. And the whole reason, go back to Mark Davis real quick. Mark Davis, when he looked at Bisaccia, he was saying, I want a duo. I want a head coach that comes in with his GM. I want a dynamic duo to run this. Because his expectation is they're on the same page. Here's what I do. You get me the players to do this. And with that in sync, the product should come out pretty good. You know what I mean? And I can say, I don't hear anybody talking about it because now here's a big elephant in the room. Chandler Jones, a half a sack. Now, he was a beast. So here's my thought. If you're a beast under another defensive coordinator, does that make you a beast in Graham's defense? I mean, this is things that, I know a little bit about football, but how does someone who even played decently last year come over here in this same position and only get a half a sack?
And to me, when I watch him, because obviously he's been scrutinized, it looks like he's actually taking plays off. It doesn't look like he's giving 100%. And that's another thing I wanted to touch on with Chandler Jones. I don't see the effort out there or execution. It sucks after our Raiders game to watch the Sunday night game and watch two teams execute the game of football. I'm like, wow, they're running great plays. Look at them. Everyone's doing their job. And we just look like we don't know what the hell we're doing. So fire McDaniels.
Yeah, fire McDaniels, baby.
Well, I'm gonna throw a. I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, but I'm gonna throw a devil's advocate argument out there. Under Gruden, we started out 2 years really good and then dropped off. 2 years. The first year I was like, damn, that's kind of sus. The second year I said, nah, we did that on purpose. I think we did that on purpose. Now, in the second year, Gruden gets thrown a curveball because for some odd reason, the Redskins were being investigated and it landed on our lap for some odd reason. And
funny how that works.
Bisaccia comes in. And Bisaccia wins the locker room and we get into the playoffs. Then all of a sudden, Bisaccia is gone. Not even a special teams coach no more. He won that locker room. And then we get this. Nah. I think this was designed from a few years ago.
Wow.
That's my theory.
I mean, well, and just to Gruden, the NFL tried to get this lawsuit Gruden has out of court, and Gruden didn't want it to.
Yep.
And leaving it in court means there's going to be a lot of documents that has to be released by the NFL, which I think is exactly what Gruden wants. Gruden says, "Oh, you're going to soil my name." Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
You're gonna coincidentally just let my emails leak. Okay. Right. And then
make it public, baby.
The district attorney of DC has now filed a lawsuit against the Washington Commanders. Yes. And again, a lot of information is gonna have to come out because the burden of proof is gonna be on the Commanders and the NFL, because I believe Roger Goodell's name is also involved in that one.
All over the place.
And I'm like, it's funny that both of these lawsuits, one is, I think they're just, they're charging the Commanders with just running a bad business, all kinds of allowing different types of harassment and all kinds of things like that, where Gruden is saying, you know what I mean, character assassination, and then, thinking that this was done purposely against him. But it's all the same. It's all a part of the same internal investigation the NFL was doing, and now they got a two-front war that's coming on. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Now, here's something that I headlined that I also thought was interesting. Raiders reportedly frustrated with Darren Waller's lack of fight to return from his injury. Now, you guys were talking about how Bisaccia made believers. When you believe, you will sell yourself out for that cause. You will end work. You will play hurt. You're going to drag. You're crying because you can't get back in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And is Waller saying, oh, no, I'm going to make sure I'm 1,000% before I get on this field, because he doesn't believe? You know what I mean? Because, like we were saying, McDaniels has lost the locker room. Nobody is buying what he's selling. Is that why? Because I'm thinking, we all know that they were offered a second round pick, somewhere around the end of the trade deadline for Waller, and they declined it. So my thought is the coaches might not think that, but Waller could not be, some part of it could be true. Waller ain't feeling them, but they feeling Waller. What do you guys think?
I think he started off last year. I mean, he wasn't quick to come back from injury last year either.
Okay.
And then he plays, and now this year, the little bit that he did play, he's dropping balls. So all of a sudden, you can't stay on the field, you're dropping balls, and now you're going to not play for 4 games, or was it 3 or 4, and then go on IR?
Right.
Definitely something fishy there.
Well, I thought the same thing along your lines, Jerry. Why you didn't place him on? Because if he goes on IR, he's got to be out for 4 weeks. Why didn't place him on IR 2-3 weeks ago? And then all of a sudden, we come up to the Colts with no damn coach, with no damn nothing, with no quarterback, with nothing, and we place Hunter Renfrow and Waller on IR. I'm not buying that shit. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's all bad.
I'm not buying that shit.
Yeah, and then
I don't know if Waller. I'd like to believe that he wants to play. He signed a contract, but then I'm also seeing him over there sitting up there with the owner at the Aces games and this and that, and I'm kind of like, well, what is it? What is it? Are they trying to put him on the shelf for next year because they know they're trying to draft a quarterback and they know they're going to screw Derek Carr over? Right. I don't know.
To what you just said, then I said it after last week. We're tanking, and if Mark Davis is going to go public supporting Josh McDaniels like that, then obviously it's just the proof is there. We're tanking the season, right?
Afro DJ says Mark Davis never joined his father at league meetings like Clark Hunt did. And I think someone had told me that Al didn't want Mark around because Mark was only hanging around just to be seen. He wasn't really into football. I thought I had heard that about Mark Davis when he took over the team, that this guy was never into football. He just wanted to be into the fact that he was the owner's son. You know what I mean? Which is, I'm here to be seen, not really to understand, learn, and be a part of the organization. So are we seeing some of that? I mean, literally, that could be definitely, because here we are. Here's Mark Davis. People in today's world want instant gratification. The guys coached 9 games for 2-7, not the results we're looking for, but at the same time, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
You don't get Devontae Adams. You don't get Devontae Adams and have Rome wasn't built in a day attitude. I'm sorry.
I don't post that much on my Facebook, but I posted this. I said, these guys gave Derek Carr that contract to lure Devontae Adams over, knowing that they wanted to get rid of him, knowing that they wanted to get rid of Carr. And now look what's happening. And look what's happening.
Let's just say the Devontae, this is 9th season? This is also his 9th season too, right? How much more shelf life is he going to have at that elite level? I mean, that's what I'm sitting here beating my head about, is saying you can't, to me, you're backpedaling with all these statements like Rome wasn't built in a day, because you wouldn't, you gave Davante Adams basically a contract that could last him the rest of his career. I think it's 5 years, 4 years, or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Before he starts kind of declining. He'll still, the way he plays, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he could be a good player for another 5 seasons. You know what I mean? But he's not a building person. He's a reload to go win person. You know what I mean? And when I read that, I'm like, oh, come on, man. Don't try to sell us this bull. Don't sell us this bull.
I like what you just said, too, because look at what the Rams did. I heard Colin Cowherd talking about it. Mm-hmm. Look what the Rams did to get their championship. They were on the cusp, and then they needed a piece. Your point, Davante Adams.
Yeah.
The Rams got OBJ. They threw the money. They got Donald a couple years before. They brought in OBJ. They got to the game, and they won the Super Bowl, right, even though he was hurt. But he got him there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we were kind of doing the same thing, but nothing's going right.
Right.
We got some badass pieces. We got supposedly Chandler Jones absent. I mean, he should give us a refund. We got Devontae. We have Waller. We have Renfro. We have all the pieces, and we're stuck in this bullshit.
I mean,
so
it's
to your point.
While we're firing McDaniels, let's not forget to fire that motherfucker Patrick Graham too. Fire that motherfucker.
And here is another point that, reading, like I say, man, I've just been reading so much now because it's just the Raiders are all over everywhere in the worst kind of way, though. And we brought in Bilal Nichols, another piece. That's why I say I don't hear anybody talk about Ziegler, because we brought in Bilal Nichols. No sacks.
Yeah.
I don't think he's performing.
No.
The only guy who is blowing the roof off and overperforming that we got in free agency is Hollis. He's the only one. He is the only guy that I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? He's an unexpected, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I hope he sticks around. But, on the defensive side, we really needed Bilal and we really needed Chandler to step up, especially trading away in Ngakoue, you know what I mean? And getting Chandler, we thought, okay, maybe even if that was a 1 sack drop off, we're fine because we had to get a cornerback since we lost Hayward. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was acceptable, but man, no production. And like I said, to me, I think it speaks more on our GM getting the right pieces for these coaches, as well as the bad coaching.
Yeah, and I know both of you have thought about this too, but let's bring it up. How screwed up is our front office, Ziegler, the front office, the coaching staff, that we bring in Martinez, who's a decent linebacker in his heyday, as a Band-Aid, comes in and leads the team in tackles, but doesn't like what's going on. He's like, I'm good. I
retire. I don't need this shit.
What does that say about the organization?
Right?
It speaks volumes.
Wow.
Here's another thing. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. We did all this stuff, right? And we thought we were gonna be all this. And I believe that this is Mark Davis's plan. I believe it's Ziegler's plan because they bought into what Mark Davis fed them, and so did what's his name, that dumbass coach we got. But then we went and hired a black female president to look just like daddy does things. I'm calling bullshit on that too. I think that's PR. I think that's trying to appease us so we can be cool about stuff. I'm not buying it, man. I think this is
we appreciate the move, but yeah, it's definitely calculated. I mean,
sure.
We've always been that organization that's really progressive and gives people opportunities. Yep. But even on her, I haven't heard from her. What is she doing?
She's very nice. I've met her 2 times.
Oh yeah, very nice.
I'm telling you.
I know she's not football operations. I get it, but I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the coaching staff, the GM, and the owner.
And let's not forget. Remember a couple seasons ago, all of a sudden, just before the season started, our previous president just up and quit.
And there was a couple of top-level execs quit. It was a couple of them.
And why? I mean, we were doing.
I think it was the precursor. Like I say, I think it was a precursor to almost what you're saying. He brought in a woman because there was a lot of accusations going on about the treatment of women in the organization. So he said, hey, I don't know nothing about this. I'm going to go get, oh, look at this. Hey, I got a woman that's really qualified. She's got a law degree and all this other. Oh, help me out here. Because I have no idea what's going on here. And, to your point,
away.
Right. He's like, I need this dealt with quickly. And guess what? If I have a woman that can deal with these women issues, probably, and I'm going to say she can do it much better than Mark probably could. So I think, like I say, it probably, I don't think he did it to save face. I think he probably really believed that she could really help, from what I heard about her, she's a really, really smart lady, as well.
What I was trying to say is he's pretending to be daddy, and he ain't. No, and I think he has a bigger master plan, and that's why I think we dropped off those 2 seasons, and that's why I think we ain't shit this season.
Yeah. Just want to say what's up to some of the people in the I just want to say what's up to some of the people in the chats. What's going on, Thor? What's up, Michael Houston?
What's up,
Al's Ghost? What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry, Jerry. Now, what were you saying, boss man?
Oh, it's all good. I was going to follow up what Scotty said. I can definitely feel what he's saying. I hope that his master plan is to fucking sell. But wouldn't you think if his master plan is to sell that he'd be elevating these wins? Do anything you can to win now. So to me, it's like that's a whole different subject. But if he has a master plan, what is it? I hope it's to sell, but I don't think so.
Well, I would answer that, and I don't know, and I'm just feeding off of what you're saying too, Jerry. I would think that the master plan is you brought in this spectacular GM. You brought in this spectacular coach. Let's draft this quarterback like all these other guys are doing, and let's do this. And then we lured this number 1 wide receiver in. We got a hell of a slot receiver. We paid him. We paid a hell of an edge rusher. We got arguably a top 3 tight end. I just think it's all calculated.
Yeah, but now you're talking a 3 to 5 year plan drafting a brand new quarterback.
I do.
Now. It's like, let's win now.
I think that's the plan.
Fellas,
if we wanted to win now, I think we could be winning now. And that's why we got rid of Bisaccia, because Bisaccia could have got us to win.
There were some other headlines too that I saw, especially about changing of ownership. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but Raider Nation pleads for Elon Musk to buy the Raiders. Elon Musk, he says he's going to smoke it over. So, there's a chance. There's a chance.
Hey, and then, hey, you seen Omar? You saw me with my little boy, with my 14-year-old. My 14-year-old to text me some things, and I'm like, I'll take my 14-year-old right now over Mark Davis to make better decisions.
Hey, that Magic Johnson rumor is sexy. I don't.
And then if we can't get a new owner, there was another headline I saw that might be an option too. I mean, that's we can just go to Santa and just be like,
please,
and then hey, and out of the Colts game. Fire McDaniels. And from that Colts game, there was another headline. After seeing the recent success of just Saturday for the Colts, the Las Vegas Raiders are now reportedly in talks with high school coach Eric Taylor. He is a fictional character, but hey,
I'll take it. Right. Whatever it takes. Whatever.
Varsity Blues at this point, right?
Yeah. And then, guys, I mean, I have seen there's a lot of angry Raider fans out there. And, they came with a lot of new nicknames for Coach McDaniels. And I'm thinking, hey, we just had an election last week. Man, this is America, man. We vote. We love to vote. And we love our voices to be heard. So I'm thinking, hey, how about Raider Nation cast a vote? And so I'm listening to Raider Nation, and I'm thinking, all right, guys, what's some of the names we like? Number 1, Macaca. Coach Macaca. Man, I love that. Another favorite I saw on here that was really popular was McDouche. Coach McDouche. I thought, all right, okay, that's a little raunchy there, but McUseless kind of rang out. I was like, geez. And then last but not least is Coach McDummy.
McDermott.
I'm thinking, wow. So, guys out there, please put your votes in the chats. Let us know what you think the new head coach's nickname should be. I would love to hear from you. See if we can get a winner here. But now here's a topic, guys, that I also heard, and I've never been really. I don't like it. I've never liked it. I remember them saying "suck for luck." Remember when the Colts, and so here's one that's playoffs, draft, and of course there's a tank right there to tank the season to get better draft position. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I don't post too much on Facebook, but I talk to a lot of people, and people always calling me about stuff. Week 2, I said, nah, I'm not buying this. We're tanking. Week 2.
Yeah.
I said, no, this cannot be. This cannot be with the team that we have. And then I already knew what Carr's contract was. And I think Carr got suckered. We really need to be fucking mad at what they did to Carr. You can like him or you can hate him.
Mm-hmm.
But that boy's a Raider, and I am telling you right now that he got suckered into that contract that they could still get rid of him at the end of this season. And he probably got suckered in by when they said, we'll bring you Devontae. Because that's their dream. And we all need to be mad at that because they pimped all of us. They pimped all the players and they pimped all the fans. And that's what 100%. I'm fucking mad at. That's what I'm mad at. That motherfucker, both of those motherfuckers, all three of them motherfuckers are pimping all of us. And we sit, and I'm going to go off. I'm sitting out there. Let me tell you something. I'm a regular dude, work a regular job. I ain't got a whole bunch of money. I ain't got all that. I spend a good, hard-earned money to come from San Antonio, Texas, to fly to LA week 1, fly to Vegas week 2, go to New Orleans, going back to LA for me and my boy to get flights, hotels, all that shit for you to fucking pimp us like that. That is bullshit. And we all need to be mad at that shit. All of us.
Absolutely. 100%.
And the fans too. My little boy told me the fans, the players deserve better than this. They are better than this. He's for the fucking team.
Max Crosby said it best. You just said it best, and Max Crosby said it best. Like I told you guys backstage, I'm a PSL owner, and that shit, I'm on the payment plan. I didn't pay that shit up front. And today started the payment. That $1,300 went out today. Every month for the next 6 months. It's like, well, for what?
Yeah.
And especially he give McDaniels his vote of confidence. He got a 4-year thing. So McDaniels can tank. He ain't got to worry about his job now. He literally can tank if he thinks it's in his best interest for draft picks. He can literally just tank now.
Mark Davis said, fuck you. This is the best fan base in the fucking NFL. Y'all will still show up. He said, fuck 100%. You guys.
And we will. And we will.
And I mean,
you're right, but we will.
Yeah. It's just, and that's what I'm pissed off at.
Yeah, 100%. I get it.
I wouldn't be mad if you were going out there and you had a game plan and you just weren't that good. And you just tried and you just missed it. And you just, okay, I've been a Raider fan for my whole life. We know what that's about. But right now, when you're trying to do it on purpose to get what you want and you're pimping us and those players who are busting their ass, that shit will piss me off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like I said, the moment I had read that, and then he said he's doing a fantastic job. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, you're doubling down?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
And what did all
he
three of them
down
say
a
at
few
the press
times
conference?
this week.
What did all three of them say at the press conference when we brought in this regime? We are not rebuilding. The fuck you are? Why'd you just tell us the truth? Or do something, but don't lie to us.
All right.
I think they're just I think what we saw and heard in the beginning was the intent, and now they're all backpedaling. Mark Davis is not about to fire him and have 3 seasons left on a contract he would have to pay in full. You know what I mean? So they're doubling down. and now they're like, oh, well, the initial plan, the main plan and reason why we brought in Devontae is not working. So let's double down and, we'll see what we can do for next season. And I'm going to give you the vote of confidence.
I won't be mad if these fucking players quit on them. I won't be mad at all.
They already did, Scotty.
I think they, Okay. I think they may already have.
Okay.
Looks like
now,
it, right?
Now, I don't want us to tank. And let's just say, okay, here's the optimist in me. All right. Let's just say, I'm not going to say we have a chance for the playoffs, but could we win some more games? Looking at the schedule, I'm like, I look at the Broncos, I'm like, they got rid of Chubb. We could win. We could still win a game or 2 or 3 here. I see some winnable games. Steelers are not doing that great. Rams aren't doing that. Rams are 1 game ahead of us. I see a few games we could win, but of course, there's been lots of games we could win and we haven't. But am I just being optimistic? Are we going to blow? Are we just going to be 2-15?
Until we can beat a high school coach, then I'll make predictions. I'm done.
I mean, and I gotta agree with Jerry on that. I have to agree with them because even this game, I found it quite curious how we put Waller and Renfro on IR right before this game, knowing that they don't have a coach, knowing that they don't have a damn quarterback. No, they are trying to make us lose. And yeah. I posted the other day, just go rogue, Carr. Fuck that motherfucker. Yeah. Fuck them. Because
I think he started to.
If you look at this last game, Devontae, goddamn, he was like, I'm going to get these fucking yards.
Right.
Max Crosby said, I'm going to get this fucking quarterback. Josh Jacobs said, I'm going to get these yards. Derek Carr at first, he looked like he was trying to game plan, and at the end, he looked like he was trying to do something with it. And I said, these guys are going to fuck up your game plan, McDaniels and Mark Davis and Ziegler. They're going to fuck up your game plan. So if we win games, it's going to be because one of these players comes out and says, you know what? You ain't going to stop me. I don't give a damn what your game plan is.
Yeah.
Right. I watch this next week. I want to see a lot more audibles out of Carr. And then, Scotty, I think you're onto something. Let's see if Carr starts calling these audibles at the line and say, fuck McDaniels. Let's go.
Let's go. You know what?
Hey, but he's an employee, so.
And that's the thing. Maybe he got mad enough this week. And there was a thing that came out when Devontae had first came in the offseason where he said, I just look at him and he knows what I'm going to do. I know what he's going to do. Let's go. Get that shit. Let's go. Do that shit. I don't care if you throw to Devontae the whole goddamn game. I don't give a damn. I don't care who puts the points on the board. Just put the points on the board.
Agreed.
I mean, that could happen. I mean, these guys literally, if you take what Carr's saying, what Devontae's saying, and of course, you add the passion and the heart of Max, these guys could just start playing for each other. Yeah. You hear that.
What else they got?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to make this reference because I'm not comparing football to the military, but I have friends in the military, and I remember them telling me, politics is aside, man. We always fight for the guy next to us, etc. And once again, I am not comparing football to war at all. No. But the sentiment of some guys who may not agree with leadership just say, you know what? I can't let this guy right here down. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And hopefully we see some of that and we win a few games.
Let's not forget Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is balling out. I do not know why we sit here and we let we gamble the game on going for a 2-point play, but yet later on in the game, we don't give the ball to Josh Jacobs to pick up 1 yard. Mm-hmm. Come on, man.
Right.
Josh Jacobs got more incentives than anybody else because Josh Jacobs doesn't have a contract.
Yeah. But I think if I had to say one good thing about McDummy is that I do like his aggressive approach. Now, his play call, he's done some head-scratching play calling, But at least the one consistent thing he's always tried to do is be aggressive to win. And I'll give him that. Like I say, if I have to say one positive thing about somebody and then tear him down with 100, that's my one.
Good, Omar. I'm okay with that, Omar, but call a high percentage play. He's calling bullshit plays on that aggression.
Definitely.
100 on that, Jerry. 100. Definitely. You nailed that one. Yeah. The only thing, I'll tell you what I like about McDaniels. He wears a visor that's got my logo on it. That's about it. Other than that, fuck him.
Why do all our head coaches wear fucking visors? What the fuck? Like the last 10 freaking coaches, all visors. Get out of here with that.
Hey, I liked it when Gruden came out with the Oakland Raider hat.
Oh, right. That was a good one.
I was like, leave it on. What's the problem?
Talking about a wonderful wardrobe malfunction. That was a good one right there. That was a good one.
Oh, shit.
That was very, very good.
Nah, I mean, again, I insist, and I've told all my friends this because people call me every week, this and that and the other. I insist that we are getting fucking pimped on this shit, and that's the part that really bothers me. And again, now on this show, Omar and Jerry, I'm sure you've heard it too. We talk a lot on this show about Raider culture, right? We talk, and I've said it a million times. I'm an LA Raider. Originally, I'm an LA Raider. Okay, mm-hmm. I wasn't mad when they went to Oakland. I wasn't mad when they went to Vegas. I think some things suck about it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm a Raider no matter what. But when I try to show my little boy that this is what you got to do and this is what you don't do, and I spend this money, and I do all these things, and I got a club out here, and I put my money and my heart into it, and you fucking pimp me like that, that's fucking pisses me off.
Yeah,
that absolutely no.
Pisses me the fuck off.
No, it's tough.
Raider, don't get me wrong, but I ain't gonna hope you don't fall off that cliff and just have some new ownership at one point or another. I don't give a fuck how it sounds.
Right. On the culture tip, no, it's tough because we all have, it's our job to pass on that Raider culture to the younger generation. Absolutely. But let's go even younger generation. My nephew's 4 years old. He's at that age where he's excited. He knows how to yell Raiders. He's asking questions, but then we're losing. At 4 years old, it's tough. He's going to lose interest. Not really because, I grab him by the neck, but still, it's hard to keep their attention. You know what I mean? It's like when we were growing up, that's all we knew.
Right.
We had the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it was. But the last 20 years of losing, this younger generation might be like, fuck that.
Yeah. And I mean, especially when you move the team to Las Vegas, how are you going to build your brand with the losing product? I mean, that's right, like, I mean, how do you do that? I mean, Mark Davis, I think he moved the team to Vegas, got the new stadium, they're going to have a Super Bowl. They got, bowl games happening there. He's got a lot going on. And I'm like, did it go to his head? Because how is your Raider team going to get new fans? Look at the parking lot. That is a byproduct of not having a big local fan base. We're all flying in and coming in from different places. So we only get, Correct. And the one thing you need to build a new local fan base is W's. Especially at those ticket prices. You are like not
Golden Knights.
Hey, Golden Knights sold out.
Second year. Third
right?
Year?
Yeah. I mean,
and I didn't think about this until you just said that, Omar. But would that be strategic as to why you chose Vegas? Because Oakland ain't that far, LA ain't that far. You still gonna get that actual fan base to come in. I don't know. I'm just posing a question. But could that have been strategic also?
Yeah, everywhere. Arizona, out of Phoenix, so Friday flights, Saturday flights, Sunday morning flights, they're all packed, headed to Vegas with Raider fans.
Yeah,
I mean, it's they had. I'm sure Southwest added more flights because of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Aphrodisiac, thank you for the super chat, bro. He said play calling has sucked this year. McDaniels is this generation's Norv Turner. I cannot disagree. I cannot disagree with that at all.
We could always go back to the bed and breakfast guy.
Right. I think the vote is in. I think the vote is in, you guys. I think fire Josh McDaniels is probably the
Oh, I
popular
love that
vote
one.
here.
I hadn't seen that one. I hadn't seen that one.
Fire McDaniels, you
Yes.
guys. That is it.
Shit.
Nah,
I mean,
I
just
just,
do it.
you know, how did, I mean, even Stephen A. Smith, I ain't that fucking smart. Even Stephen A. Smith said it. How did you get worse?
Right.
How?
You get Devontae Adams and your quarterback nosedives with not only one of the best receivers, but his friend, somebody he's played with, won games with. I mean,
and then back that up. You got into the playoffs when your wide receiver one, who is great slot receiver, but nonetheless a slot receiver, you got into the playoffs last year. That's all we had.
Right.
That's what we had.
Right.
We had Hunter Renfrow. I won't take anything
we also
away
had,
from
I think we
Big
had a locker room full of believers too.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
You know, they not only were they buying in, they were extremely motivated to play for Bisaccia.
Right.
You know, that's one thing Jeff Saturday said. You know, there's a ton of criticism about what the Colts did and letting a high school coach, of course, he was a great football player, great center for the Colts, jump right into the head coach. And they said, hey, that's a slap in the face for all these guys who don't get to see their families but once a week, or, you know, who go through all of this to try to get to that position. And Jeff Saturday said, hey, you know what? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But here's the one thing I can do. I can lead men. And I'm sitting here just thinking about that. And I'm like, what's the one thing it seemed like our guy can't do? and the proof was in the pudding on Sunday. Yeah. And I mean, I like, how are you going to argue with that? You know what I mean? It's like he didn't say, he said, I don't know what kind of coach I'm going to be, but I do know this one thing I got. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, man, you know, hey, McDummy, pay attention.
Yeah. And you know, and again, Bisaccia had less than Jeff Saturday when he got in there. He had less. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But he couldn't even stick around. And it was a topic on this show, Omar. Should we let him stay as head coach? Should we put him back as special teams? What should we do with them? You got rid of him completely. He could lead men quite clearly. This ain't speculation. I'm not guessing at this shit. It was proven that he could lead men. But you got rid of him completely. That's right. Bullshit by this organization.
Let me rap to you guys about this real quick. Sorry, Omar. Real quick.
No, go for it.
Since I'm an optimist, I like to be a positive guy overall, but at the same time, I'm also a realist. And I looked up a stat before we got on. Since 2008 to today, we've had 2 winning seasons with double-digit wins. 2008 to 2021. So, as a realist, what it really says is that the Raiders, what's our culture? Not Raider Nation, not Raider fans, the Raider organization. What's their culture? Their culture is fucking losing. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
and it's horrible. It sucks.
And another thing too, if you look back, our defense consistently has not been better than 20th, and I don't know how long.
Not in
It hasn't been even. I mean, we made it to the playoffs last year, and it was 26. This year it's 27. And
we had John Gruden's offense.
You know, and it's like, hey, back in the day, our glory day, our defense was monsters. You know, and I mean, we don't have to have a monster defense, but can we get in the teens? Can I get a top 15 defense?
Look at all the Super Bowl. Look at all the classic jerseys that a Raider fan would want. The majority of them are on defense, are defensive players.
Yeah.
You would think it was the quarterback. You don't see a shitload of Gannon jerseys out there. You see some Stabler jerseys out. Okay. Yeah. But you see a shitload of Woodson jerseys out there. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like we were defensive.
I have a Woodson jersey.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but, you know, I mean, the proof to me was you went out, you signed Carr, then you gave Carr all these weapons, but then you didn't do nothing on that offensive line to protect him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, again, not to compare to the military, and it's just an analogy that I just came up with, but it's just like standing out there with the best machine gun with nothing in front of you to stop the bullets to coming at you. Ain't it the
Yeah.
same shit? You
And
did
the play
nothing
calling, like,
to protect him.
yeah.
You did nothing.
Yeah, what's he doing? What's he doing with these play calls, putting Devontae in the backfield on these jet sweeps?
Oh,
Stop
dude.
it.
God,
Stop
bro.
it.
All these bullshit trick plays, bro. You got Josh fucking Jacobs. God damn. You don't need
I'm
a
like-
trick play. God
I mean,
damn.
only-
Jacobs.
If
That's
he keeps
the trick
if he keeps throwing the ball to Devontae behind the line of scrimmage,
Oh my
he's going to get Devontae hurt. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my
Because it only worked once, and Devontae had to work his ass off to make
you
that
see?
nothing
That's what-
into something.
That was
You
this
see how many
past
breaks
week.
he has to take
And-
during
Yeah.
games?
Yeah.
You see how many blows Devontae has to take? He's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Devontae said, "You are not going to stop me," and that's what he did.
All right. I'm like, it
That's what I'm
is-
saying. These players are going to ruin this. These players are going to ruin the organization's plans. I hope.
Al's Ghost said, football games are won in the trenches. Carr
Yeah.
was fed to the Lions.
Oh yeah.
Now, that's a
Scotty's
good
point.
statement because,
Scotty's point.
in the beginning of the season, we, didn't Denzel Good, one of our linemen, didn't he just retire or was he hurt?
He retired.
He retired.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be
Stepped
one of
away.
our starters. You know what I mean? And just like I was saying, Bilal Nichols, Chandler Jones, those two guys we brought in. And I mean,
I can't quote the
we're
stat,
sucking in
but-
the trenches.
I can't quote the stat, but I'm gonna tell you something. You, all three of us on here know, and whoever's watching, whoever's a halfway Raider fan, know what Casey Hayward did last year, and we got rid of him real fucking quick.
Man, we should have kept him. I mean, if you keep Hayward, and then of course, I think the byproduct we would have kept Ngakoue because we wouldn't have had to trade him for Rock Ya-Sin. You know what I mean? Because we would have had Hayward and
Right.
Hobbs. You know what I mean? So
And I think
that was
Rock
a
Ya-Sin
loss.
has been a good addition.
No, he's not been bad. He's not been bad. You know what I mean? But
Here's another
But-
thing on this Colts game with Rock Ya-Sin. Rock Ya-Sin went over to that fucking idiot. I mean, call him by his name. Fuck him. He went over to the coach and begged him to throw that challenge flag. Why, with all the cameras around, Rock Ya-Sin had to beg him to throw that challenge flag on that play against the Colts. Y'all saw that shit.
Man, what a joke.
What
Yeah,
a joke is right.
tanking.
Rock
They,
Ya-Sin,
they,
man.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm
I
not
hope you guys
buying
are right.
nothing.
Let's go rogue and let's shove it up this coaching staff's ass and let's. play some
I say we
football,
fuck
man.
up their draft picks. I'm sorry. I'm a Raider,
Yeah.
but fuck this organization.
My final thoughts to end the evening is exactly that. I hope the players are thinking that, like, hey, we got to play for ourselves. These coaches are setting us up to fail.
Yep.
They're thinking about next year when we're putting our bodies on the line for this year.
This year. Yep.
And so let's at
Exactly.
least get some dubs out of it. You know what I mean? So I really do hope the sentiment from Carr and Devontae and Max resonates with the players a lot louder than whatever's coming from the coaching staff.
Well,
so
if
that
you,
these
if you
guys,
if you remember, we got our second win the week before we had lost, and we got our second win. They had a players only meeting, and all of a sudden we came back and won. Let's keep having those players meetings,
yeah.
just players only.
Yeah. Here's the
Okay.
devil's advocate part of that too. It's like I want to think that, but these players, these young players, we've heard it from Devontae, we've heard it from Carr. They don't have it in them. They talk a talk, they practice good, and then when it comes to game time, they're like, fuck that. I'm good. I got paid. I got my game check. I'm out. I'm not gonna be here. I'm not gonna be here next year anyways. I'm out. And that's why
But-
Carr's pissed off. That's why Max and Devontae are pissed off, because the core group of guys, the captains, they're in it. They're Raiders. You got a lot of Arnett. I believe you have some Arnett attitude in that locker room with some of these players, unnamed players, is what I'm kind of feeling based on Carr's words.
I
And
don't know
Devontae.
about. I hope you're wrong about that. You may be right,
Me too.
but I
Me
hope
too.
you're wrong, and that that those guys were talking about the coaching staff and not the players. I hope that's what it is.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not saying you're
I
wrong.
hope so.
I don't know.
No.
And like I said, my thought is if there are some players like that, that's just because the coaching staff, they ain't buying into what these coaches is selling. And that's why I say I hope Carr and Devontae can turn those guys and say, fuck what the coaches is yelling.
Right.
We got you. This is
Right.
what we need.
Right.
Let's do this. And
Love it.
they just
Love it.
play for each other, man. I mean,
And-
that's all we're going to have left for the rest of this season. You know, and I want a few more W's. I don't care about draft pick because, you know what, historically, and I'm going to say, you know, I look at some of the draft picks we have, you know, from last season. I mean, and only, I think, one of them, I think, is doing good. The others ain't doing bad. And, of course, we didn't have our first or second pick, who was Devontae, of course, and he's doing his thing.
Well,
But, you know, historically, we haven't done good with our top picks. Now, will Ziegler do well? I don't know. Is he going to try to get a quarterback? I've heard that. There's a lot of defense out there. I hope that, you know, I want our number one pick to go for defense. So, you know what I mean? That's all I got to say. If this coaching staff is going to be okay with statistically being in the back 20 percentile of teams in defense, they're never going to win. And Josh McDaniels, who came from a defensive team, knows how powerful a good defense is and how much it helps your offense. So everybody's worried about quarterbacks. I'm like, you know what? If Ziegler has any type of brains, he's going to pull a defensive guy that we're going to get some instant results from, and then maybe draft a quarterback in your second or third round that can just, you know, push Carr a bit or not, man. But I hope they don't pick one number one. I've been seeing that. And I'm like, I hope not.
You don't need to pick a quarter. Carr's the guy for the future, for the next whatever his contract is.
I think, Omar, your point is in front of the root of the problem. We shouldn't need draft picks with the team that we have. We should not need them. We shouldn't need to be at the top of the list in the draft with the team that we have. We should have, and I think we do have, at least on paper, a top 5 offensive team. Period and point blank. But we're not on paper. But we're not utilizing it right. I don't think that's the issue. I don't think it's the players. I think we're being led the wrong fucking way. Just like that tank, I think we're being led that fucking way. And and that comes from the top. That comes from the top. And that's why I insist we are being pimped by by the Raiders organization, and fuck all of them. I love the players. I love my fans, but fuck everybody from the top at the top. Fuck them all.
Absolutely.
Straight up. I'm gonna be a Raider for life, but fuck this current organization. This ain't Raiders shit right here. This is not Raiders shit right here. It is not.
100%.
You know what? I think we're all in agreement. Fire the leadership. Get a new owner if we could. Guys, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us, man. I was excited to be on with you guys. And,
Hell yeah.
Hopefully, man, I still want to win some games. But, hey, we go out one way, guys, and only one way. Raiders!
Yeah, baby.
Thank you.
Salud.